Hello po mga kababayan, ako po muli ang inyong kasama, ang inyong abang lingkod, si Rado Gatchalian dito sa ating Facebook page group na tinatawag nating The FILOsopher. Alam niyo po mga kababayan, ako po ay, how would I say it, I'm such in awe and I feel so honored na kasama ko po ngayon ang isang kilalang counselor po dito sa Sydney, Australia. Of course, isa rin pong Pilipino at bilang pagdiriwang po ng International Women's Month, nais ko pong i-share sa inyo ang aking kaibigan po. I even called her parang mother kanina po, ang aking ate, aking tita at ina na rin po ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino dito sa Sydney, Australia. So kasama ko po ngayon si Councillor Linda Santos. Of course, counselor po we should be so proud of dito po sa Australia. Iba't iba man po ang ating political stand, labor or liberal, we should be proud of sapagkat meron po tayong isang kababayan na nasa konseho ng Blacktown. Isa pong abogado at I believe naging isang guro rin po. Katulad nyo po, malaki ang aking paghanga sa mga naging guro. At isa ring manunulat at higit sa lahat isang kaibigan ng lahat. So, narito po, magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Narito po si Councillor Linda Santos. So, Councillor Linda o Tita Linda, bilang pagkilala po, sino po si Tita Linda?
Ako po ay matagal ng taga-Australia and ako po ay, as sabi nga ni Rado, and I'm very proud to be everything that he mentioned. Ako po ay councilor sa Blacktown City Council at ilan po kaming out of 5 lang po kaming councilor na Filipino sa Blacktown Council, which is a very big community. And my main occupation po is a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 30 years. I was also an educator. I used to teach at University of Rizal University when I was 18 years old.
That's very young age
yes,
po, Tita.
because I graduated with honors, so they offered me a teaching job. And I was almost as old as my students, which was a flattery to me. And enjoy po ako. Nagturo ako ng literature and I love it, and I encourage my students to write poetry and to write even love letters, and we studied the women who were the objects of love of poets like Beatrice, for Laura. All these are poetical figures that were the muses of poets in the bygone years. So, tuwang-tuwa po ako pag nagtaturo ako ng literature because secondary to my passion of doing medicine, which I didn't do, is poetry and literature. I wrote a book on drama, the origin of drama in the Philippines. It was my master's degree thesis. It used to be at Central Escolar University Library a long, long time ago. And here in Australia, I've been practicing as a lawyer on all areas of law, immigration, criminal, commercial, conveyancing po sa amin, pagbili ng property, bayan sila ng property. Lahat po ng law na ano ko na, and I love working in court because I love arguing.
Wow. You see po, with everything that Tita Linda has mentioned, I know she's a woman of achievement and talaga nga pong model para sa mga kababaeng Pilipina. But habang nagsasalita po si Tita Linda, I feel so honored. At the same time, with all the achievements po, I have to say po frankly here on the record na she's so humble pa rin po. With all the things that you have achieved, you remain so humble. Why is it po? How does it feel na in spite of what you have achieved, you remain on the ground?
Because I came from the ground.
Yeah.
I came from a disadvantaged family. My father was a rich doctor. My mother was a poor teacher. And when I was a kid, I just thought things can only get better. I never stopped to think, bakit kaya hindi nangyari ito? Bakit hindi nangyaring ganun? Bakit ang tatay ko mayaman? Bakit kami mahirap? I never paused to think about that. And I'm proud to say that when I was a kid, I was a sprinter. I used to walk 1 kilometer for 10 minutes from my home crossing the river and
Crossing
going to
the
the
river
private
po.
school
Oh.
because I was a charity student at a private school, and if I don't come on time, ibibilad kami ng mga madre sa araw.
Taga saan po kayo sa Pilipinas,
Sa
tita?
Conception,
Concepcion.
yeah.
Okay.
And I grew up with the Holy Spirit sisters.
And thank you for sharing your stories po, tita. And I hope we can inspire so many Filipinos here in Australia, even sa Pilipinas, and even sa ibang bansa. Gaya po ni Tita Linda, I also came from a humble beginning, from a poor family. We are all 11 in the family. I'm the 10. And nung narinig ko, nabasa ko yung kwento niyo po, you wouldn't believe, I even cried. I have tears in my eyes when I was reading your story because I feel so much inspired sa mga taong katulad po ninyo natin na in spite of our sufferings, mga downfalls nung ating kabataan, nandito pa rin po tayo. And then patunay lang po yan, tita, gusto kong i-highlight po sa mga kababayan natin na hindi po hadlang ang paghihirap para makamit ang
That's very
tagumpay.
true. Yeah.
How would you say that in your story po, na hindi hadlang ang paghihirap?
Nung bata ako, I think when you're young, ibang mindset mo. You just move forward. You don't think about bakit hindi nangyari yun, bakit hindi nangyari yan. In fact, when my mom talked to me about it, hindi ka ba nainggit yung mga kapatid mo, inahatid ng kotse, yung mga half-siblings. Ikaw sabi niya, naglalakad ka, tapos sabi niya, nag-iwas ng palayo. And my wisdom was, at my young age, I said to my mom, Mother, this is supposed to be coming from you, but I'm going to tell you, sa buhay natin, may binibigay na assignment ng God. Sabi ng God, ikaw Linda, hindi ka marunong magpiano, marunong ka maghugas ng palayo. Yung kapatid mo na half-sibling mo na mayaman, marunong magpiano, hindi marunong maghugas ng palayo.
So that's how you saw it in that
Yeah.
perspective at that
Yes.
very young age po.
Yes.
tita.
And then sabi ko, so mom, in the end, even Stephen lang kami, we get exactly what God wanted us to be. And I said, I should be listening to you. You're my mom.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be telling me this. You should be telling me
Yeah.
this. I'm telling you. And I never paused.
Pero tita, I know you're saying that now, pero ano po yung, how would I say it philosophically, at the very young age, paano po naging ganun ang inyong mindset?
I think it's just because, you have to have faith in the youth. Even now, ang bata, very clear ang mind. Parang as they say in Latin, tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa, like
Yeah,
blank,
the mind
blank
is
plate.
blank. And it is us adults who put some bias in their minds. But as a child, you've got a very fresh and a very good outlook in life because you haven't been bothered by kung anong mga biases ng parents mo o ng community. So I think even our young children, when you look at them, they don't have bias. They are not racist, they've got no bias at all, they've got no misgivings, they're just moving on. It's when we get older and when we get fed with the biases of our elderly that it starts moving. But as a young child, I was bullied very much because I come from a broken family. You know how I fight back?
Paano po, tita?
When you bully me today, I'm gonna cry. Tomorrow I top the exam.
Wow. So you take things positively po. I mean, the sweetest revenge is to be, to achieve something.
Yeah. Because I said I can't fight you because mahirap kami. It's all a question of money. And what I do is,
Sorry.
sorry po. Okay. Andito po ang kanyang kabiyak po si Sir Phil. Say
Hello.
hi naman po. Harap po kayo sa video camera, tito. Siya sa
Hello.
konting
Hi.
padala sa si Sir Phil Santos po, aking kasamahan din po sa Knights of Rizal. Salamat po, Sir Phil.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So,
ano ko lang doon, I cried kasi bata ka lang eh. And they say, kids can be cruel to fellow kids. So I would cry. Sabi ng mother, ba't ko umiyak? Because I had no money, I wouldn't tell her the story. Because hindi ka na magkakampihan eh. It's all a question of ano. Tapos sabi ko, wala po sister, masakit ang tiyan ko. You want a cup of tea? Hindi na po, I'll be okay. I never told my mother about it. It's gonna break her heart. So uwi ako, and then I will study. Ang gamit namin kasera.
Gasera,
We
of
have
course.
electricity. Tapos nag-aaral ako, and then I said, okay, day nyo ngayon, bukas day ko. I'm going to top exams.
Wow. And you did.
Yeah.
So, I know sa mga makakapanood po ito, of course, marami po sa mga kababayan natin, they feel like they're full of challenges. Iba gusto na mag-quit, gusto nang
They shouldn't.
mag-stop. Pero you having said that, and even me as a testimony, we should not quit. Never
No.
po. We should never quit.
We shouldn't.
And alam niyo po, Tita, of course, nandito na po tayo sa Australia. Kaya ko lang, may have a personal question if you don't mind. Kasi sometimes meron pong, how would I say it? Kasi may mga anak din po ako. But then I realize, may kikwento ko po in context mamaya. Kasi dahil galing po tayo sa hirap and now we are here in Australia. Sometimes we keep reminding our kids during our times, wala tayong ganito, you're so blessed. Kumbaga parang kino-compare ko lagi and then I realize I have to stop that kind of mindset kasi ang mga kabataan ngayon iba na eh.
Iba.
I cannot I mean they will reason against me. Di sana hindi naman daw sila lumaki during that time. How would you deal po that with that kind of personal drama na we came from a poor beginning and now we are so blessed and our children are so blessed. Kumbaga parang tinetake for granted nila yung
Totoo.
mga blessings na meron sa kanila ngayon, but during our times we cannot even buy our own shoes, wala tayong mga
Totoo
bagong
yun.
damit, but now the younger generations, like every after 3 months they want new shoes, every month they want new clothes branded, and then pag minsan nako-compare ko yung sarili ko, sometimes I have this personal drama during my times, during my younger years.
Yeah.
Ang mga damit ko yung mga pinaglumahan na ng mga aking mga kuya. Hand-me-down. But how shall we deal with that kind of personal drama or comparison? Because I know marami rin pong mga magulang ngayon, they have the same sentiments. How should we approach that, Tita?
I think we just follow kung ano sentiment ng mga bata. They're a product of this generation. And you know what? These kids want to know the past. I think we presume they don't want to know the past because they only live in the present. I think we're undermining the young people. Even my own stepson, when he was born here, and he's a very articulate lawyer. He's now a lawyer with ASIC. And he hears speeches from the Philippines. And he just says, "Dad, who's that?" And we say, "Oh, that's Ninoy." Or one of the
Benigno Aquino Jr. Yeah.
And he says, "He is wonderful." And I said, there are many of them like him. And these are the kind of people we don't have here, because here is very political. We don't make speeches like we do in the Philippines. I think in some ways they're missing out on the excitement of living in the Philippines, where not only coping with poverty, but knowing the challenges and I think we have more ability to excel in the Philippines because there's a demand for excellence. There's a demand for excellence here, but it's more within reach here. You don't have to struggle very hard. And there is a part of me that feels sorry for the young people now because
What is it po, Tita?
it was a very romantic lifestyle in the Philippines. For example, when you're young, you go out to a young man, and everything is so sweet.
Wow.
Packs of chocolates makes you happy. You go out. The kids now, because they're so IT oriented, they're going to use their computer and say, "Hey, are we going to hang out?" No more poetry.
No more poets.
And-
Sad to say po.
Yes,
Sad
and
to
in
say.
the Philippines, if somebody wants to falls in love with you, they're going to quote Shakespeare. They're going to say all these
Yes.
beautiful things, give you little things just to make you feel appreciated.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
So nawawala na po yung sense of art natin, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung creativity. But of course, different generation.
Different generation because there's so much IT. I mean, you watch the young people now. Nagkikita ko, ang tahimik ng mga bata. Observe kong parents. Sabi ko, ang bait ng mga anak mo ah. Paglabas ko, naglaro ng computer. So that is the social venue now, the computer. Whereas in our time, in the Philippines, even now I think, they still entertain social interaction. And that is what is upsetting about the whole thing because the young people, they don't know what they're missing. I think they don't know what they're missing.
Kaya nga, sabi ko rin po sa iba, pasalamat sila, wala pang iPhone during our younger days, wala pang
was wonderful.
Facebook, wala pang social media. Kasi even before, we enjoyed sa scenery, sa ilog, umakyat tayo sa puno.
Simple things. Yeah. Dito kasi everything is available eh. So doon, akyat ka sa puno ka ng bayabas. I used to hang out sa puno ng bayabas. because I'm
Yeah, yeah, same with me.
Yeah, and I'm very cheeky.
Mm.
When my grandma says you've got to cook, I hide
Oh,
sa puno ng bayabas.
sa
Baka
puno.
ng bayabas saka. Tapos when I feel like my sister finished cooking, I'll get down and say, where have you been? I say, oh grandma, I was just there.
Nakakamiss po yung mga memories na yun, tita ko.
Oo. And I used to climb the bayabas, and then
And especially, you're a young girl during that time, and then umakit kayo sa
Oh, yeah.
puno.
Saka may dala kong magazine. And simple things. Kakain ka ng bayabas, nagbabasa ka. That was beautiful.
And now, going back to sa question, yung simple things na yan po, di ba? Para sa kanila yung mga na-experience natin noon.
Wala. Different.
Different.
In fact, if you look at young kids, babies, they don't give them rattles. They don't give them dolls. Generally, they give them computers. I think they already have computerized things rather than, they give them electronic toys. And I think very simple things like, meron kaming kalang-kalangan, and then you try to play games with it, and you say, magluluto ako pa sa
Yung
child.
luto-lutuan po.
Little
Luto-lutuan.
things,
And then, mamimitas po tayo ng mga dahon, mga bulaklak.
Yeah. And those are the things that I think the young people, we should be writing about that,
Of
you know.
course, opo.
What these young people are missing in life.
Napakarami.
And I think given that we live in poverty.
You remember as well, naglalaro tayo sa napakagabi, may bilog ang buwan. Nagpapatintero po tayo.
Di ba ano? Wala
Nagtataguan.
silang ganun ngayon.
Wala na.
Wala silang bandito eh.
Wala.
They see the moon but they don't appreciate it.
Now, going back po sa mga kabataan ngayon, I have some parents na nakakausap. Pag minsan, they advise or they recommend yung mga anak nila. Kasi lumaki silang, how would I say it, mayaman or okay ang buhay.
Realistic ang nila.
Gusto nilang, then dito na rin lumaki. And ang mga advice po nila, gusto nilang umuwi sa Pilipinas yung mga anak nila just for
A taste.
to experience and to taste yung talagang buhay sa Pilipinas. How would you comment on that po,
I think
Tita?
they will enjoy that because it's something that they don't know anything about. I've got my young nieces who went there and they had a beautiful time, and they said, but they were funny because they said, Auntie, we went there and you know what? We enjoyed ourselves. I said, why? Because we saw a lot of little fishes,
Little fishes.
little pumpkins,
Yeah. Oh,
little
my God.
eggplants. We've never seen them before in our lives. They're enjoying the little things, which we used to take
Yeah.
for granted.
And Tita, I'm a bit I'm quite serious as well. Sorry, magiging serious kasi habang nakikinig ako kay Tita Linda, it reminisces all my experience and nagiging seryoso ako, nagiging deep pang minsan. Meron akong kaibigan na dito na lumaki sa Australia. And then nung umuwi siya sa Pilipinas, and then nakita niya yung condition ng mga Pilipino doon, the poverty and everything. You know what? Sabi niya sa akin, nung bumalik siya rito, mas na-appreciate niya daw ang buhay
Dito.
dito.
Because of the comparison. Pero gusto ko rin sana ma-appreciate na lang history natin. Because dito walang sense of history. They grew up, may history in Australia, but it's modern history. Hindi Paris natin. We live, even if we didn't live that during the time of Rizal, but I suppose we were brainwashed at school and in the society about appreciating what they've done. For example, our heroes. These kids, they do not have heroes. They don't know what it's all about because everything was being offered to them. They didn't have to fight for their freedom. And to us, even now, when we play the national anthem, I feel very tearful, and I thought, this is what it's all about. And I think about Rizal, Aguinaldo, and all the people who really died for us. And I really get a lump in my throat, and I thought, this is what it's all about.
And Tita Linda, for the information of our viewers, bahagi rin po kayo ng kababaihang Rizal. Is that correct po? Now, nabanggit niyo po yung pagiging makabayan, yung ating pambansang awit, ang lupang hinirang. I think napag-usapan din namin dati noon ni Tita. You even cried, I even cried listening or singing the song. Very challenging po sa atin ito ng mga migrants na from Philippines and then nag-move tayo sa foreign country. How do you take po yung sense of patriotism? Paano po natin mapapagpatibay pa rin yung pagmamahal natin sa Pilipinas kahit nandito na po tayo sa ibang bansa in general?
I think ang memory of the things that happened in the past atin hindi nawawala. Because we grew up believing that we were once upon probably slaves, to put it
Yes,
mildly.
yes.
And these people died for us. And we learned, I think it was inculcated in our brains na itong mga hero na ito, kung hindi kumilos, we will be still slaves. We will still be slaves of Spain.
Wala
Japan.
tayo ngayon dito without
Walang
them.
independence, oo. So they've achieved a lot. And I never forget that. And I think people like us who grew up in the Philippines, we always have that memory that somewhere along the line, we owe this a lot. Because if they didn't die for us, we won't be free. And also, we have new challenges now. You don't have to die now for freedom, but we have other challenges. If you remember the film General Pasiano,
General
I
Pasiano.
wrote a critic which I had been published. It was heartbreaking, and there was interposing of Rizal walking in modern day,
Yeah.
seeing all the
I watched
protesting.
yeah.
And I thought that is a very relevant,
Very symbolical,
yeah,
metaphorical.
because it means Rizal is still there. We still need people like Rizal or types of Rizal who would fight new wars.
And I think, I still believe, Tita, na even though Rizal is already gone, but Rizal should be alive in us.
In our minds. And
In
that's
our
what I
minds.
was thinking. We should have a Rizal course.
Of course,
Because our young people do not know who he is. But I think we should, not just Rizal, even the other heroes, I think we should really encourage the young people because they don't know anything. May apo kami ni Tito Felmo. Sabi ko sa kanya, you speak Filipino? Yes, Grandma. Yes, Lola. Okay, what is it? Lola. One.
Oh, okay.
Number two, kumusta ka?
Kumusta ka?
And these are the young people I want to get to know, to get acquainted with our history. Because they've got, it's like a blank mind. They don't know anything except about Australia, English culture. And I love the English culture. In Europe, I love the English culture best. But I think they should remember where they come from and what the people like the heroes did for us. Because we wouldn't be here.
We owe them our lives.
Yes, and it's the utmost sacrifice, isn't it? It's almost like Jesus dying for us.
Of course.
These people in a non-biblical way, these people died for us so that we can be free.
Actually, there's a symmetry between Rizal and Jesus Christ.
Isn't it?
I wrote something about the comparison between Jesus Christ and Jose Rizal. Now, going back sa question ko po, the reason why I asked that question, kasi po, we know some Filipinos nag-iba pong nagpunta na sa ibang bansa and somehow they feel like wala na silang pakialam sa Pilipinas, na wala na yung sense of yung roots nila. Kaya ko po naitanong yan kasi importante po sa inyo na ma-maintain yung pagmamahal natin sa Pilipinas, na even though we are already Australians, pero hindi po maalis sa atin, which I always advocate, yung pagmamahal natin sa Pilipinas because it is in our hearts, in our soul. Gaano po kahalaga na i-advocate natin na kahit na po nasa ibang bansa tayo, dapat Pilipino pa rin ang nasa puso natin?
I think it's very important, very, very significant. At kahit saan ako magpuntang part of the world, pag may nakita kong Filipino, I feel an affinity. Especially when they speak the language. And I don't care kung
That's very positive, Tita.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you there. That's very positive that you feel affinity pag nakikita niyo yung mga Pilipino sa ibang bansa. Because I've met some Filipinos and they said the opposite. Pag meron daw sila nakikita ng Pilipino sa ibang bansa, for example, pupunta sila sa Europe or America, they try to avoid.
Why?
Para bang meron daw mayroong reservation, ikinahihiya sila, kinakahiyan niya, something like that. Pero mali po yun, di ba?
Mali, kasi kababayan mo yun eh. I don't care kung anong walk of life sila. They're still my kababayan, they speak the same language, they look like me, and you will find that they've got an affinity also when they see you. Sometimes I was in Rome once and I was in church hearing Mass, and sabi na Pilipino ka. Oo nga eh, go. Ganito pa kayo. And we started chatting.
And it makes you happy po, diba?
Yeah.
And even proud.
Yeah. And I don't care kung katulong sila what, because my mother used to get upset when people say, when in our travels, sabi nila, ang katulong ko Pilipino, sabi niya, university graduates ang mga yan. Ma'am, sabi ko, don't get upset. They're not, the meaning, the person. They're very proud to tell us na meron silang Filipino. So yeah, sabi ko, they're not saying to you na demeaning ang Filipino. O sabi nila, kasi nagagalit siya, defensive siya mga university graduates yan. I said, Ma'am, they're not saying anything wrong. They're just saying, they're very proud to tell you that you're Filipino and they know a Filipino. So that's how I take it.
So that's actually good. Very enlightening po yan actually nung sinabi niyo yan. Because I feel the sentiments of your mom sa mga kababayan natin. Kumbaga, she represents, the sentiment of your mom is the same sentiment of the many Filipinos. But, your notion po parang it's an enlightening point po sa akin. There's nothing wrong. Wala naman silang sinabi na masama. Diba?
Wala nga. Sabi ko, they're just stating a fact and they're proud na masabing may kilalang Filipino. They thought they're going to be pleased to eat that.
And not necessarily demeaning na katulong.
At saka ang daming katulong sa Europe eh. And when I see them, oy, kumusta na kayo? Teka lang pa kayo dito? And you start chatting. And then, sabi na, maganda bang punta sa Australia? Sabi ko, sige, kung may card ako, bigyan pa ng card eh. Kung gusto ka akong magano doon. But you know, they're Filipinos. And then you cannot change that. It's like written in blood. They're of the same blood. They're of the same ilk, the same culture. And you cannot erase that.
Now, Tita, I wanna go back again sa buhay niyo sa Pilipinas. I know, yung flow ng discussion natin became very exciting po. Would you say you had a very difficult life?
When you're young, it's not difficult. When I was working, because I think I told you, I could have done medicine.
Including your studies and everything?
Yeah, I couldn't afford anything. So one time my mom and I were walking, and we didn't have enough money because the nuns, out of the goodness of their heart, they removed me from the honor roll. They wanted to put someone else because we didn't have money. And my mom said, if you do that, I'm going to complain to the Department of Education. So yung honor roll ko, nawag yung bakante. And then, nung nag-aaral ako, I didn't have an open scholarship because they removed me from the honor roll. And what I did was, minsan naglalakad mag-ina, we're not eating anything, kumakain kami ng lolis. Kasi
So, Tita, you experience as well na hindi kumain noon, na walang pera, walang baon?
Oo, kumakain kami ng candy. Naglalakad kami.
Pag sinabi niyo kumakain kayo ng candy, you mean for your breakfast? For lunch?
No, we were hungry. We're walking along Manila. I'm trying to look for university where I can enroll. And then we didn't have anything except candy lang. Tapos ako, because...
You mean candy lang for the whole day?
Hindi naman, naglalakad kami. And then sabi niya, hindi ka kumain ng candy. Ma'am, magagalit ang mga madre. I'm not nakain sa public eh. Tapos wala kayo makita. Then we found a university. Sabi nila, wala kaming pagmatrikula. And I was not going to go for a scholarship because inalis ka ng mga madre ang opportunity ko. Tapos nung wala akong scholarship, tumating sa university, sabi niya, hey, I'm not gonna pay anything. Sabi ko, why? Full scholarship.
Wow, that's good po.
I didn't have enough money for my tuition. And then somebody said to me, hey, come on, you're full scholar. So that was a positive thing. And I was working, but I had to work because I think there was a time when I don't even have 20 cents. Pamasahe sa bus. So I really had to work. Even if I had a scholarship in medicine, I wouldn't be able to cope because I have no books. Wala akong pamasahe.
Hirap po, no?
Oo.
Life is so difficult.
But you know, you're young. And you just say, it can only get better, you know, because when you're young.
So you're so positive and strong.
But young people are like that. You find with your children. They've got no background, they've got no negative thoughts because they've got a very fresh mind. I used to fight with my dad because I was very argumentative. And I used to pick him up and I said,
That's why you're a lawyer now, yeah?
Yeah, he wanted me to be a lawyer.
Yes.
And I told him if I become a lawyer, I'll sue him.
Oh my goodness.
So that was very good friends. Because to me, if I did not earn it, I'm not worried about it. Okay?
Kaya ko po hina-highlight yan, Tita, because sa Pilipinas po, we know na ang daming naghihirap. And some of them, kumbaga, they want to, kumbaga, losing hope. Pero here we are, living testimony that in spite of everything, we can still move forward and follow our dreams. Diba po?
Nung hindi pa ako nagtatrabaho, I used to walk from Santa Mesa to San Juan because I had 2 pesos for the budget for the week. Para hindi ako magbayad ng pasahe. So I had to get a job.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's okay. Nakikita kong lecture ko na bimili ako ng mga murang isda. Tapos nasalubong ko yung lecture ko sa uni. And you know, you just go along with the flow. It never hurt me. And
But Tita, di ba those experiences, it made us who we are now, stronger, more resilient.
yeah, I think so. I think that helped. Yeah.
So you would you would also consider it as a blessing po.
It's an asset.
It's an
in a way.
asset.
Yeah.
In a way.
Because sabi nila, hindi ka ba nainggit? Kapatid mo, ganyan, ganyan. Sabi ko, hindi. Ba't ka hindi nainggit? Sabi ko, okay naman ako eh. Because I never felt like, sabi ko, pag sabi ng nanay ko, nanay, kapatid ko sila eh. Don't worry about it. They're my siblings.
During that time, Tita, when you were young, and then siguro nag-aral, nagsasuffer, dumating ba sa point yun no, na naisip nyo na one day you'll be in Australia, you'll be in...
No, I was going to go to America on a scholarship. I gave it up because of personal reasons. I had a breakup with my ex. And my visa for Australia came first. I competed for scholarship in the University of Hawaii. I got a scholarship for 2 years. And then when I was here already, I thought it's a big drama to go back there. And then I was able to bring my whole family here, including my lola, my sister, my mom's siblings, and all their families, next to nothing at the time.
That time.
Now it costs 45 to 50,000 to bring one person, one parent.
Totoo
At the
po
time,
yan.
next to nothing. So I had to make an option, and I thought, will I go to America and be a scholar? And then if I go to America, I have to go back to Manila and serve 6 years for 2 years. So when I got here, I just thought, well, I'm already here. And for a long time, I was struggling because at that time the unions were very strong. I tried to get a job as an editor, copy editor of parliamentary papers, and I passed the test with flying colors. I was not a member of the union. They rejected me because the union would take me.
Bakit po?
Because I am a graduate, it will disadvantage the others, the other members.
Okay.
So I got a bone to pick with the unions.
Okay. Now, Tita, quickly lang po. Paano po nag-start yung journey nyo as a lawyer?
What happened is I already did, when I was working as a like senior education officer sa UTS.
Did you really want to become a lawyer po?
I did.
You did.
That's my second choice, medicine or lawyer. And my first degree is pre-law. And I was not studying law at the time. I found a good job at UTS.
But you studied your law dito po sa Australia?
I went to UTS. In UTS, I was very lucky. They liked me, and I got a very good job as media manager, senior education officer. And by the same token, they gave me 2 afternoons off to study uni. So I did my law, and then
while working, the same time.
working 7 days.
7
because
days.
I also did assistant nursing because to me.
So you did assistant in nursing din po?
Yeah. Sabado linggo nag-assistant nurse ako.
You know, I also work as assistant in
You
nursing.
did?
I did.
Because to me, honest work is honest
Of
work.
course.
I don't care kung nagugas ka ng anything.
Of course. And since nabanggit niyo po yan, you know what? I also, when I came here in Australia, I started as a cleaner as well. In a
Yeah.
nursing home. And tayong mga Pilipino kasi, masipag tayo. And they saw me that hardworking. And then, sabi sa akin ng mga nurses, bakit ayaw mo mag-assistant nurse? Sabi ko, wala akong qualification. And they trained me. And then,
And I loved it.
And then, kaya ko po lang nabanggit din. Kasi working in nursing home, marami po ako natutunan. Especially yung wisdom, lalo na sa mga tumatanda. You know what? During that time po, of course, you would know this kasi nag-working po. Thank you for sharing that story po. Na nakita ko po yung matatanda. They only need one singlet, one pajama, and that's it. And then, it's an eye-opening for me na ang buhay natin soon,
Talagang,
we will come to that point.
ouch.
Ouch. And
It's
then,
also, it goes quickly.
it
yeah.
goes quickly.
And I think the satisfaction is so instant because you give them something and the comfort is immediate. So
And
that's
alam
a
niyo
big-
po, I'm so, mas humanga po ako na nabanggit niyo po yan because some people would not, ayaw nilang malaman ng iba na they work as an assistant in nursing.
Ano,
Kumbaga parang mababa daw.
Ano.
Pero para sa atin,
I was working as a senior education
Yeah.
officer. Sabado linggo nag-nursing ako. And I enjoyed it. My patient, one of my patients used to call me ugly duckling. I said,
Ugly duckling.
I won't help you anymore.
Oh,
You call me
okay.
ugly duckling. Oh, but darling, you're going to be a swan.
yeah.
So it was fun. And it's immediate because I grew up with my grandma. So I had an affinity with the patients. My mother was a school teacher.
Now, going back to the study ng law dito, how did
How did it happen? Ang sabi nila sa akin, I won't get promoted sa university unless I improve my qualifications. I did a master's degree in educational admin. One of the subjects was law, and I did it. It was the easiest subject.
That easiest one for you.
Because I find education very challenging, and the law was it was easiest, and I thought, hey, I can do it. So my boss, who is English, an Englishman, said to me, my gosh, you've got the goal to enroll in law. And I said, why not? He said, but I am what? Now you tell me. I'm Asian, and we used to joke. If you tell me I'm Asian, I'm going to complain to the anti-discrimination board. So I had a good life, but I laughed. And he said to me, talagang ang lakas na loob mo. Imagine you come from a non-English speaking country, and you are going to do law.
He was doubting your capability, your ability.
Bakit ka ako mga Pilipino, hindi matatalino? Magagaling kami
We're actually very intelligent. We're very intelligent.
Yeah. I said we're a very intelligent.
We're very articulate, eloquent.
Yeah, but he was only joking.
Of course.
Because I was his favorite, and I was like a protege to him. He was a literature graduate, so we used to talk about literature a lot.
And that was your starting point po, Tita Linda, to be involved or to be kaya naging counselor po kayo? Because you're a lawyer po?
I think that's a long journey. I was a counselor. I didn't think about politics because I was working 7 days, studying in the evening, and I was very disciplined. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and study, and then go to work at 8 o'clock. That's my life forever.
Forever, like you wake up at that early time
to study. Then go to you.
But you don't do that now na po, Tita?
Oh, with my work, I still spend a lot of time now because.
Like reading in the morning or?
Oh yeah, I still read. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But sometimes it's my work that takes my time now. But at the time, I would be studying, and my mom would be awake, and I said, "Mom, why are you awake?" And she would say, "Oh, because I'm upset with your dad." I said, "Don't worry about him." I said, "Okay, we're grown up, Mom. We don't need him, Mom." And she said, "Oh, because something happened, and she upset." And I said, "Okay, Mom." I said, "What are the 2 things you need, man? One of them is to have dad. You won't have him. Gotta kick him out." Second one, you want around the world, right? I said, I sold the second property. All the profits I spent on my mom. We went around the world.
Oh, that's
my
good
first
po.
trip. Yeah.
That's good.
And that was and these things that you can handle, you can do now. You can't do it if you're in Manila. But here you can do it. It's within your reach. So that was the happiest time of our life.
Wow.
And so there are some pluses in being here. And no, I was always disciplined. I used to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning in the Philippines. No, 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
And isang kwarto lang. Maupo ko dun sa, tawag mo doon? Yung mezzanine. Nagbabasa ko ng libro ko. In order not to bother yung mga pinsan ko kasama sa kwarto.
So you love reading even during your younger days po?
I was studying when I was 4. My mom said to me, "Can anybody do the bird work?" And I said, and because I was always with her, so she didn't realize.
Because your mom was a
school
teacher.
But she didn't realize how much of this you're absorbing. And then she said she had the board work for 2 people for grade 1, grade 2. And she said, she asked, anybody can do it? And then nobody did. I raised my hand. And she said, can you read? I said, I suppose so. And I got the board work perfect score for the 2 board work.
That's an amazing story, Tita.
It's just so only the day's work.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you.
Of course. I like you too. And then, from that point po, studying law, and then, I asked you about being the counselor. So, paano po kayo na-involve ngayon sa politics?
I was already helping a lot of clients, okay? In some compensation. If I can afford not to charge them, I allow them to experience that. And for a long time, I was not very active in the community because when you're working 7 days, and then eventually, Councillor Diaz offered me, would you like to run for council? I said, do you think I've got a chance to win? Because most of the community people that know me was not upfront.
But never in your mind that you want to enter into politics?
Oh, no. If I were in the Philippines, I would be a politician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just didn't have the opportunity here. And when he offered it to me, I said, you think I'll win? Because if I run and I don't win, I don't want to go. And he said, I think you're going to get a safe seat. So that's when it started.
And you got it po, Tita?
It was a safe seat, yeah. And somebody asked me sometime later, would I like to run for MP? And I said, am I going to win?
Mhm.
He said, no.
Mhm.
And I said, no, because I said, I'm going to spend $200,000 because that's your budget for MP.
Mm.
And I'm not going to win, why would I do it?
Mhm.
And they said, for exposure. I said, I already work in the community.
Yes.
But somebody offered me, and they said, would you like to run for MP? I said, am I going to win? They said, no,
Mhm.
no chance. Why would I run?
That's right. Being practical po. Why
Oh,
would
yeah,
you?
it's a lot of money. I
Why
mean-
would you take that?
Yeah,
kind
but
of
and
action.
they told me that I've got a safe seat, I would have run.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what is the challenge for being a counselor with a Filipino background or Asian background? What's that? Meron po bang challenge sa council po sa Australian politics, you being on Asian background po? And babae pa po
I think there is. It's probably not as blatant as you would know, but I know, I feel it. But what I do is because I'm a fighter, I just fight back. And one time they said to me, why are you running for council here, not even from here? And then I would confront it and I said, listen, don't do it behind my back. You ask me, I'll give you the answer. I said, council approved my candidacy. And the election after commission approved it. I said, check your own backyard. The backyard approved it. Because they used to tease me, seriously, why am I running when I don't belong here? And I said, I can service you. I can serve you. So there is a challenge, and sometimes you get some attitude, but I take it to grain of salt because
Take the grain of
I don't need it.
We're mature enough to take all those kind
Couple
of
of
tensions. Yeah.
And some counselors do not talk to you because you're Filipino, you're woman. I take it to the grain of salt. I just don't want to talk to me. It's your loss, not mine,
Yes.
because I know better than you do, and I just feel that sense of superiority, like because I'm not doing it, I'm superior to them because they're inferior because they have this bias. But there is, yeah. But I ignore it. I just ignore it. You don't want to talk to me, I won't talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like
I don't
me?
need you, yeah.
I mean, I cannot control you, but I can control my behavior.
Exactly. But I feel superior because I don't have those biases. Because I'm quite open-minded
Yeah.
about.
And you understand them.
And I understand
Para bang seek first to understand them to be then to be understood.
And sometimes there's also the attitude that because you're better qualified than they are, so there's that.
Are they
Underline.
intimidated as well? Do you think?
Probably in some ways, but by the same token, I couldn't say it with confidence because some of them are very good counselors. They've been living counsel for a long time. They know the community backwards. So in that sense, probably they're intimidated because when we talk about something that has legal implications, I raise my hand. You should hear.
And of course, you know what you're talking about.
Yes. And one time, they argue that councillor blah 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 cannot do it because it's this, because the law says that. Then I challenged them and I said, excuse me, can you show me the law? Who is among you is a lawyer? None of them is a lawyer. And I said, show me the law and I'll agree with you. But unless you can show me the law, I would ask you what my friend Voltaire once said.
Voltaire, yeah.
I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death the right to say it. Yes, defend to the death is right to say it.
Yeah, that's it. And we should all do that. I mean, we can agree to disagree. I mean,
it's very strong. Partisanship is very strong. Sometimes it's quite soul destroying because really they treat you differently because you come from a different party. But I think that's along the whole atmosphere.
The underlying reason bakit ko po natanong yan, Tita, because now we're celebrating the International Women's Month, and you know, sometimes sinasabi nila there's so many challenges pa para sa mga kababaihan to get equal to male species. But me talking to you now as a counselor, iba po para bang, would you say that women today are strong now?
Woman, I think the Filipino woman is probably stronger than the Australian woman. You don't know their background. A long time ago, when we were voting, they were voting. When I first arrived here, a woman cannot sign a mortgage document. And this is the West. It's the Western world. And I remember at that time because my boss was my chief, and she wasn't allowed to sign a mortgage document. She was the one paying the bills.
Just
But
because
the bank, because she's a woman,
she's
the
a
husband
woman.
has to sign the mortgage document. We didn't see that anymore. That
We
was
were
the long
talking
time.
about how many years ago po?
Siguro mga mid-70s before 1980s. No, 1980s. And that was there. And I think we're more articulate as women. We never felt, I mean, personally I don't feel I'm different because I'm a woman. I just thought it's more a privilege than a disadvantage. But at the time, I've got friends who are Australians and they said to me, I prepared an application and she said, I can't put that. I said, you're not a graduate, isn't it? I said, yes, but I can't say that. You want to get a job and you don't want them to know you're an honors graduate. Why not?
Why
She
not?
said, we're trained not to boast about our accomplishments. So they have that. Putting them
And I'm fully aware of that as well. Sa
Yeah.
mga puti.
Yeah. But we Filipinos, we're open about it.
Yeah. But
Hindi na-
complete opposite to us.
Hindi tayo nagyayabang, but we use it so that we can get what we want.
Yeah.
Because it's true anyway. I said, isn't it true you graduated honors? He said, yes. But why don't you put it in the application so you get the job? Oh, but we're trained not to do that. It's boasting. I said, no, you're telling the truth. So we put it in, and she was quite hesitant. I thought, I can't believe it. This is the West, and we're more liberated than they are. We Filipino women, I think, are more liberated.
Are more liberated.
Yeah. I think we've gone a long way now with the Australian women. But as you can see in politics, there's still a big
I'm amazed po sa mga perspectives na binibigyan niyo sa akin kasi it's quite enlightening because compared sa mainstream or majority, iba ang kanilang notion eh. Pero listening to you parang mas, wow, you have big points there.
Yeah, because even when I first arrived here, they rented in a queue. I was working in a big office, and it's lunchtime. I couldn't believe my eyes. The men queued, went to a male table. The women queued, went to a women table, and I said, "This is the West."
Okay.
But because we don't worry about it, we just mix it on it.
Yeah,
At
in
the
the
time,
Philippines,
it's
yeah.
different now. It's now advanced, so they've got a long way here now. But I think the Filipino woman has been more liberated than the Australian woman for a long time. Yeah. And I don't know, but I feel proud to be a Filipino woman because I think we really earned our kudos a long time ago.
And I just remembered, even during my younger days, we feel, we give high respect sa mga teachers who are women.
Yep.
And kumbaga, pag may problema po sa barangay, ang tinatawag na una yung mga gurong kababaihan.
Very parang position of honor.
Position of honor and authority.
Yes.
But we take that for granted.
Yeah.
Now that you mention na mas stronger ang Filipino woman kumpara sa Australia, para bang bumalik yung mga moments ko noon na, may
that's true,
pagkatama.
isn't it?
It's true.
Because
it's true.
kahit na yung mga courses, sabi na ako ka ng ganyan, even they were questioning why I was doing law because there were few law graduates na babae at the time. Because in the mid-70s there,
Of course, it's the arena of males.
Yeah, but I studied in 1981. And he used to tease me and I said, why? Why couldn't I do law? Oh, you're so, ano sabi niya, hindi mayabang eh. You're so strong that you're going to do law. And I said, why? Because of my background. I said, don't say that. I'm going to sue you for anti-discriminate, sexism and racism. But we're very good friends. You know, we really enjoyed talking because...
We think that is like it's a joke.
It was a joke. And he would be playing in a drama and he would have a throwaway line and says, and those people from overseas, all these refugees, and he would look at me from the stage and we laugh, have a good laugh. He was only joking.
Now, my next question, Tita, I know it's like 45 minutes na, pero ang sarap po ng kwentuhan natin kasi, how does it feel po to become a member of the Blacktown Council na kayo po ay Pilipina?
Okay, couple of things. To be a lawyer to me is a privilege. It's not a job, it's a privilege.
It's a privilege.
Because I can help people like you. And to me, I always thought being a lawyer is not something that you can be proud of, but to me it's more a privilege because you can, you imagine those people who are in jail and I said, and I get one phone call and
you
say,
have that
you
sense
can
of
go home.
purpose,
Yeah.
di ba po?
And I don't know
Sense
them.
of mission as well.
And you mean the difference, I know what it's like to be on the other side. And they're about to. And working with council is also an honor and a privilege. Sometimes expectation is so high and they're disappointed with us because they didn't realize we've got very little we can do. But where I can, I try to help and I think it's both a privilege and an honor to serve the community.
Of course, it's an honor to serve in
And-
whatever capacity or way, maliit man o malaki.
And I love especially the senior citizen where I'm advisor.
That's
In small ways, I'm able to help sabi nila. Tulungan mo naman siya wala siyang Sometimes if they live alone, a few times because they're very expensive, I was able to get emergency necklace. They press, somebody comes.
oh,
And that makes a world of difference to them. So, Komisan, if I cannot help, you want me to write the minister, to know if we can go that far. But I think it's a public, because we don't get paid. You don't know that, do you?
Opo, parang
Allowance. We get an allowance, but we don't get paid. It's not a paid position. So it's public service.
Completely different sa Pilipinas and other countries.
I think in some states they get paid like the MPs, but here we don't get paid.
So it's really a public service po,
It's
no?
public service. We get an allowance, but you spend that allowance really to give to the community, at least half of the allowance. And also,
Ang hirap po niyan, tita. The reason why I'm saying that, dahil sa pinag-uugutan ko na sa Pilipinas kasi, they want to become politician because they want to earn. They're after money. But here is
even if you look at the Prime Minister, we were just comparing the salaries. Salaries of private directors is much greater than the Prime Minister's
Totoo po yan.
salary. It's a public service thing. Why people even go into politics?
That's actually good for us here in Australia.
It's a passion.
That kind of culture na we enter politics not because of the compensation or money, but because of service.
Yeah, it's a service industry for us. And the other good thing is this, and I'm very happy with this. We're not allowed to get anything from the community. It's unlawful to get anything from the community. We're allowed to get $50 a year gift from the community. And I laugh and I said, GM, General Manager, I'm going to start counting my cups of coffee. I will get more than $50 for
this is quite...
It is.
I mean, sa mga kaibigan po natin, kababayan natin sa Pilipinas at nasa ibang bansa, you might find this shocking, but it's true.
But I love it that way. And I wouldn't have it any other way because by making it very strict,
and I think it should be this should be the model politics for even lalo na sa Pilipinas. Because I know in the Philippines, of course, kaya nga I have so many sentiments. Kumbaga naging business na po ang politics sa atin sa Pilipinas. I mean, sad to say. But now, yung naririnig ko sa inyo na actually wala talaga kayong sweldo.
Wala.
So sometimes you even use your own
pocket allowance binibigyan po sa community because they ask for donations. So, and then we're not allowed to get anything from the community. We are there's a code of conduct which is you can't go more than $50 in gift per year. And I love it that way. Because you know why? Because if you relax that, it lays open avenues.
Because I remember, Tita, there was one politician here na without his knowledge ata, binigyan siya ng bottle of wine.
But resigned.
Yeah,
You forgot about it.
Out of principle, he resigned.
He resigned. And that's over a bottle of wine worth $3,500. But I like it that way because once you relax the rules, there's a room for corruption. And I'm very proud that they're very strict.
Tama po yan. I wish that it could be like this system would be applied to other countries. Now, so from that point, Tita, now you're exposed to Filipinos here, to Filipino community. And paano po kaya are you positive about our Filipino community here po?
I am very positive, but by the same token, I've got a bit of a heartache because we're such a talented group of people. Okay.
So we have such great talent.
Pulling of talents, and this is I'm not kidding. Filipinos are a very talented race. Okay, even here, the Philippines here, they're very talented and they've got a lot of qualifications, a lot of achievements.
And Tita, lagi po natin sasabi na actually ang mga Pilipino talagang napakatalino.
Matalino talaga.
And then, to continue your statement po, ano po?
Ang problema, we don't have the sense of unity. And I think if we have that sense of unity, we can move mountains because we're such a big group.
That's actually a very nice statement po. If we have this sense of unity, we can move mountains. Yan po ang sabi ni... And we can make miracles. I think it's the same advocacy po that I'm doing. I've been wanting to advocate and promote unity among all of us.
Ang problema, they have so many factions. Even in the political parties, they have factions. Okay? But our faction is so bad that even the politicians do not want to help us because their common comment is, "I'm going to help you. You fight among yourselves," and that's not a very good thing for the Filipinos. Filipinos are
and it become a disadvantage.
It's a disadvantage. And if we have the common goal and saying we're going to do this, all of us will do this, and then somebody's going to come in and say, oh, but I want it this way and that way. That's still fine, okay, because they have differences of opinion. But we should not, what do you call it, we should not lose our sight on the ball.
What's your, how would I say this po, political or historical assessment po? Bakit po ganito ang Pilipino?
Hindi ko naramdaman sa atin yun eh. Hindi ko alam it's because of here. I think partly because there's a sense of superiority if they're dealing with the white people. So there's still a colonial mentality.
Colonial mentality po.
And it's very hard to remove that. And secondly, I don't know, I think because they're very, individually, Filipinos are wonderful. They're good people, okay? It's just that there's some sort of competition that I can do better than you can, which is fine.
Which is fine.
If we do it in a positive way, okay? Because we lose sight of the ball that we are all Filipinos, that we can really achieve something substantial if we just don't lose sight of the ball that the ball is Filipinos, Filipino community. Don't lose sight of that.
So how can we not lose the sight po, Tita, kaya? What can we do?
I think it's very unfortunate, but I think they've got
The reason why I'm
own-
asking this and want to highlight kasi I think there's really a need,
need
now,
to, yeah.
especially here in Sydney, Australia, for unity.
I think one problem is that pagkaganyan, and I experienced it, okay, not for me, when I was campaigning for another one. And I said, boto natin siya, Filipino siya. Hindi ako, hindi akin. Tapos sabi niya, ba't kasi boboto? Bakit naman ho? Eh kasi sabi niya, tataas pang lipad niya kasi sa akin. And sabi ko, eh di, kung tataas pang lipad niya, kapupuri natin. It's good for us. Hindi eh, tataas ng lipad niya eh. Sometimes I joke and I say, huwag ko kayong mag-alala, mataas ang lipad niya, kaya din yung boto eh. But that is the thing I hear, na tataas ng lipad niya, ako iboboto ko. And that is very sad because even in New Zealand, with a small population of 4.5 million, they've got a Filipino MP that year.
But here we don't have.
The best we can do is these guys, the councillors.
And even ako po, I'm hoping and dreaming one day we will have one in my lifetime as well.
I think they just, I know, in fact, she should be a very good candidate.
Oh, po, we'll see po, tingnan po natin.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. And it never,
You're the right person.
it never crossed my mind, but sometimes there are some things that
The
we...
opportunity comes. I didn't know about this. My stepson was going to be run as candidate. He decided to go to Melbourne, and so they're missing one candidate. They said, "How about you, Linda?" I said, "No, I'm too busy." And they said, "But I have my consciousness that I want to help the community, and every time I can, I try to do that because having come from disadvantaged background, I know what it's like to be on the other side.
On the other side.
Yeah, and if I can help. And I've helped some people that really are in that position, like this African lady who's starving literally. And then
Starving literally po.
because and she should not. And I suggested her go to a community shelter. And I said, you pay me when you can. So she paid me by installment.
Wow.
Up to this time, she remembers me. She's now in Townsville. She will write me letters. Linda, I'm doing this now, my son. And
it's a great feeling po
it is. That's the
help. Kasi sabi
reward
nyo,
you
it's a privilege to help.
It's a reward.
It's a reward.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I thought, and
Na
I-
hindi mababayaran ng anumang salapi.
And you change somebody's life. Because she was down and out, pinabayaan ng asawa, all of a sudden she's up there, doing well. And I think that's one privilege of being a lawyer and being a small politician.
Now, going back dun sa sinasabi nating Filipino community, you still have hopes na we can still be united po, Tita?
I have hopes for the young people,
Oh, okay.
and I'm looking at you.
Oh, salamat po, Tita. And the rest of our mga kababayan.
I think if we can only change the attitude of a lot of Filipinos, and that's very, very sad because we're a very bright, brave, loving. Filipinos are wonderful. I'm very proud to be one. They're wonderful. It's just that there's a lot of functioning. For example, a faction of coming from the same region, a faction of speaking a different dialect. I think we should just be, even if we speak different dialects, we're one in
Because
the
we're
same
still,
community. And that is where I want someone like you to write your poetry about how we can unify, because Filipinos are wonderful. They are wonderful people. They're
And I hope
beautiful.
sa mga kababayan po natin, they will be inspired sa usapan po natin
They're
ito.
beautiful people. Magagaling, beautiful tao. Kahit na physical and otherwise, mabubuting tao. I think ang problema lang, Politics get into it, but in the wrong way. Politics gets into it, but in the wrong way.
In the wrong way. We
Oo.
can, I mean, politics is in essence pa historic, philosophical, is good in essence naman po eh.
But if we do it the right direction,
The right direction.
sabihin natin, okay, Filipino kami lahat, let's get unified. But in the end, it's an example. Sabi ng isang kaibigan ko, napakabait niya, sabi niya, a white politician. Niyakap niya ako, di man niyo kakilala, how wonderful he is.
Oh, wonderful. Pilipino po yung yumakap.
Pilipina. Ate,
Pilipina.
puti.
Puti.
Sabi ko sa kanya, ako kaibigan mo, pag niyakap kita dahil Pilipina ko, walang kwenta sa'yo.
Oh, I see.
And that's quite typical. Na pag puti, better. And we still have some portion of the community which cannot change your mind na kung puti is better. Even I, as a practice.
So, ito po, para to clarify lang po, may kaibigan po ko, ang yumakap sa kanya puti. So, ang sinabi niya po,
politician.
na
And she was so proud.
Pero pag tayo pong Pilipino, ang
Sabi ko sa kanya, kaibigan ko siya. Pag ako yumakap sa'yo, politician ako,
parang
walang kwenta.
wala lang.
Dahil hindi ako puti. Sabi ko, kung Pilipino yumakap sa'yo, walang kwenta. Sabi ko, niyayakap ka niya dahil kailangan niyang boto mo. Did you stop to think? In fact, when I was being a candidate, sabi ng mga ibang party, Linda, sabi niya, opposite party ka. If I need help, will you help me? Ito lang sabihin ko sa inyo, ako. Pag natapa ka, ako unang tatakbo para pumikap sa'yo. I won't even ask you kung anong party mo. Because kababayan
regardless.
kita. Dahil unang-una, councilor mo ko, pangalawa, kababayan. First, kababayan kita. Ako unang tatakbo, dadampot sa'yo.
Okay, that's a good character po. And yan din po ang sinasabi ko na magkakaiba man tayo ng mga pananaw o stand, pero pag Pilipino,
Tsaka alam po,
doon darating time na magtutulungan pa rin
it's
tayo.
unconditional eh.
Unconditional.
Kaya sabi niya, are you sure? Sabi ko, I won't ask you kung anong party mo, but I'll pick you up.
How
because
I
you're
wish
Filipino.
po marami po sa atin na merong ganito pong character.
But it's true, because if you're Filipino, tutulong ako sa'yo. And not because you're, Australians tutulong ko rin,
Of
pero
course.
I think sa Filipino,
May kakaibang feeling.
Oo.
Lalo na yung mga naapi at kawawa.
And yeah, I wish I could do more, but you've got very limited authority sa council din eh. Very, very limited, but I wish we can do more.
But of course, we can still help in whatever humble way we can.
In small ways.
In small ways. Which is actually, small ways are actually big ways para sa iba.
Para sa iba. Saka I always maintain na what it's like to be on the other side. Kaya kahit na yung mga...
And then going back lang yung natulungan niyo po na refugee po ba yun? Or black girl or family?
Black girl siya. Pinabayaan ng asawa.
Para sa kanya po, para sa inyo parang maliit lang naman yung tinulong niyo.
Pero job, at least job.
Ayun, pero para sa kanila, it's
It
actually...
changed her life.
It changed her
She
life.
contacts me even now. Sumusulat siya. Sabi ko sa kanya,
Just to prove po na yung mga small ways po para sa ibang tao na nabigyan ng ganong ng health, malaking bagay po.
Saka sabi niya, saka sabi ko sa kanya, wala kang pera. Kaya mo ng installment, kung kaya mo, habang wala kang trabaho. Tapos even now, she writes me letters.
That is so sweet po. I know, Tita, I know it's like an hour na po. Medyo, kasi napaganda ng kwentuhan po natin. But a few more questions and then i-conclude na po natin. So, medyo light question lang po. I know you love literature and poetry.
I guess I do.
And you studied literature as
It
well.
was my
Did you major like
master's
Russian literature po or drama?
No, it's a master's degree in literature and I specialize in the drama. But I love reading. Even now, when you say to me, do you sleep late? I have a book. I usually finish one novel a night, but now I've got a lot of
I
work.
feel so honored. I mean, I'm talking to a lady because yan din pong aking focus na we have to promote yung love for reading, love for knowledge, love for books. So, bata pa lang po kayo, Tita, nagbabasa na po kayo.
Ay, naglalakad akong ganon.
Can you recall the first few books that you read when you were young?
I can't remember because I've read so many. Sabi nila, ilang libro na nabasa mo. Sabi ko siguro marami na rin. Kaya lang, ang specialty ko sila Shakespeare, ganyan, the usual thing. And the first
So,
thing,
classical, romantics po.
romantics, and then the poetry. For example, yung Sleeping by the Woods on a snowy night, something like that. And then it was along yung like and miles to go before I sleep.
I think, Tita Linda, Councillor, we need to discuss on another segment pure
Poetry.
literature and poetry
Yeah.
po, no?
Sabi kasi we have to open a column sa
Of course,
newspaper, critique of
we
New
can.
because
We
they're
can.
forgetting it. In fact, I use that in my critics, yung monologue, how they use monologue with Waiting for Godot, yung kay Kapitan, ano pa siya, no?
Oh, iniral po sana po.
They use monologue there, and I suggested, but Pierre was saying I'm debating from the topic, because I said the monologue in Waiting for Godot, two characters, and they had
Because it's a monologue.
yeah, and it's a monologue between two
Like a
characters,
soliloquy as well.
and it's existential type of literature.
Existential type of literature.
Yeah, so but I love Russian literature. I don't know.
So you read Leo Tolstoy po?
Yeah,
Or those
Dostoevsky,
Brother
Dostoevsky,
Karamazov?
yeah.
Oo.
Dostoevsky all the time.
So bakit po, so I know yung nabanggit niyo po, you want to become a doctor, and then ngayon lawyer kayo, but you have this passion for literature.
Yeah, even as a child, I kept on reading.
Would you say, because same with me, with all the career or fields that we have, literature pa rin po ang parang nagbibigay
Close to your
ng,
heart.
ng close to our hearts.
Yeah,
Nagbibigay ng
exactly.
buhay sa atin.
Yeah.
Even though you're a lawyer now, but at the end of the day,
Yeah. There's
your
passion
heart
for that.
is still
Passion for that, yeah.
on literature po.
Yeah. I think it's a passion since I was a kid. And whenever they see me, I would be carrying yung ba, mamaliti kami galing sa probinsya na uniform ako galing ako sa school. Sabi ng lola ko, mamili ka ng ganyan. Yung ano ba yun, yung basket, dala sa ulo ko.
Basta
Dala ko libro, nagbabasa ako, naglalakad ako. Sabi ng mga tao, baka matapa ka ha.
I remember po
I love
kasi
it.
even sa Pilipinas meron lang kaming yung tindahan, maliit na tindahan. Pero ako po nagbabantay, walang choice kundi tumulong sa pamilya. Pero pag walang mga bumibili, libro ang kaharap ko,
Yeah.
nagbabasa.
And it's just it's a gift because you live in different cultures. Like you say, why Russia? I love Russian culture, English culture, and I love this. And you live the lives when you read the books. You think you're there. So I think.
So you write din po, Tita Linda, do you also write particularly?
Not that would satisfy me because I always try to make excuses. I've got no time.
Plus, siyempre, busy na po kayo as a lawyer and counselor.
But when I retire, I hope to do some courses in writing because I should. Because it's a passion. Except that, and I was telling my students when I was teaching, and I said, listening to you, I've got enough material to write books about you.
Oh, that's good po.
They all of them were crying. They've got problems, and I said, they want to hear my story.
Yeah.
How long will it take you? One day? No. So we had
Kumbaga, you
fun.
have so many stories to write, Tita
Yeah.
Linda, with
A
your
lot of
experience and everything. So, light question lang po. So, ano po, do you have any particular favorite books po, Tita, that you can mention?
I think
In general? Like,
in general.
or if you are to leave Earth and go to another planet, what books will you bring?
I'll bring with me Brothers Karamazov.
Brothers Karamazov.
Yeah.
So,
I'll bring probably some Shakespearean plays. Yeah, just for
Brothers
good measure.
Karamazov, Shakespeare.
And I'll bring something like The Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, by
that
Alexander
kind of thing.
Dumas.
Alexander Dumas, yeah.
That's the favorite book of Dr. Jose Rizal,
Yeah,
Alexander
yeah.
Dumas.
And I'll bring some books about Rizal.
And some books about Rizal. And so, basically po, yun ang mga books po, no? So, will it be the same answer po pag tinanong ko kayo, who is your favorite writer or author?
Marami. Even among Americans, I like, for example, Hemingway, and I like William Faulkner. I love
William Faulkner po? William Faulkner.
I love Faulkner.
More on short stories
The
po.
Grapes of Wrath and novels niya, The Sound and Fury, that kind of thing. And I remember one time I was teaching at the Rizal University. They thought I was a student. I was a teacher, and I was getting inside.
Because you look so young.
I was young. I was 18.
You were 18. Oh.
Yeah, and they said, "I can't get in there. It's only for the lecturers." And I said, "I am a lecturer." So they tried to bar me because
I was just counting my fingers kung we started the same age when I taught in the Philippines because after ko ng college, nagturo ako kaagad. So they thought I was also a student.
Yeah,
So
because you're very, even now you're very
young.
young.
Yeah, napaka-bata po natin.
Yeah, and we live life. I think we really were privileged, even with you say difficulties. To me, they're challenges. They're not difficulties, they're challenges.
Alright. Now, konting more questions na. Napakasarap po kasi ng kwentuhan po natin.
Talaga tayo magkita
Oo nga po. And I have more questions sana sa literature and poetry, but I know medyo more than an hour na po. So, question, ano lang po, last siguro po, 2 to 3 questions. Ano po ang inyong mensahe para sa mga kababaeng Pilipina bilang pagdiriwang ng International Women's Month po, itong Marso?
Sa mga kababayang Pilipina, I am proud to be one. And I can tell you that even in the time of Rizal, meron ng mga kababayang Pilipino. The letter of Dr. Rizal to the women of Malolos is an example how women in the Philippines were already active at the time. So, itayo natin ang papurihan ng Pilipino. There is nothing that would stop us from doing anything we want to do. We've got the talent, we've got the power, and we've got the power of being a woman, okay? And we've got the wherewithal to do what we can and what we want to do. There is no limit and there is no ceiling to what we can do. Don't forget about the glass ceiling. We can break the glass ceiling.
That's very beautiful po, Tita Linda. It's very beautiful. Oh my goodness. Kumbaga, I feel like I'm floating in the clouds, di ba? Listening to those wisdom po. And then, Tita Linda, after, of course, this will be watched again after 20, 30, 40 years. How would you like to be remembered? Na pag mapapanood po nila ito in years to come, and tayo po mapapanood po natin and we're still alive, how would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as a Filipino woman who faced hurdles in life and who loved life and made sure that every day of my life is going to be spent quite profitably. I don't mean money-wise. And I'd like to be remembered as being a part of a generation that has been awakened to the potentials that each of us, woman or man, can contribute to humanity. And I'd like to be remembered as a small part of a whole global figure that had did a teeny bit of contribution to make this world a better place to live in.
Better place to live. I think we share the same philosophy po. And then one...
Yata kita eh.
Ano po?
Mas
Nga po
gwapo ka lang.
Mas gwapo lang pa. You're beautiful.
Mas gwapo ka
You're beautiful po. And then, one question po. For example, may isang bata or kahit isang katulad ko, he will ask you, what is the meaning of life? What is your philosophy in life?
Life is a God-given gift to us, and God gave us this kind of life so that we can enjoy it, and we can nourish it, and we can only improve it. And for you young people, there's a world there out there, and you are going to inherit the earth. You're going to be the next generation. Don't give up on hope. There's always hope while you are alive. And as young people, you've got more opportunities than our generation had. So go for it, grab while you can, and don't be afraid because the world is yours.
The world is ours. Thank you po. And ngayon po, Tita, bilang pagtatapos po, no, I will give you opportunity po na magbigay ng huling mensahe para sa ating mga kababayan, kaibigan na nandito po sa Sydney at kabuang Australia at maging sa Pilipinas rin po at sa iba't ibang bansa na sumusubaybay po sa ating Facebook page na The Philosopher. Ano po ang mensahe niyo po para sa kanila?
As a Filipino woman in a foreign country, well, it's not foreign anymore, in an adopted country, ang masasabi ko lang, be proud of who you are. Always be proud to be a Filipino. Filipino woman or Filipino man, always be proud. This is our inheritance, and we should not be ashamed of it. We should be proud of it. I walk tall as a Filipino, and I'll always walk tall as a Filipino. And let us not forget, we are a wonderful, gifted country, and there's a lot out there that we're going to still conquer. We haven't conquered everything. There's more to do, and the opportunities are still there. Let us take advantage of these opportunities, not only to make the Philippines great, but the whole great. Because there's a lot. And women, I'm sorry, but I always believe women may be superior to men in some sense because we women are multitaskers. We can do many things that men are limited to do. So don't forget that for the Filipino woman in Australia or Filipino in the Philippines, there is no barrier to what you can do. The sky is the limit for us.
Wow, Wow, that is just so beautiful, Tita Linda. So maraming
Thank you
maraming
for the
salamat po
opportunity.
sa inyo.
Yeah.
I'm so honored and privileged and at the same time really glad and happy that
Likewise.
I made this point in time na matuloy rin po na makausap ko po kayo. So, Tita Linda, maraming salamat po sa
Thank you
inyo.
very much.
You are my inspiration,
And so
genuinely in my heart, and you know, even though lately lang po tayo nagkakilala, but with my writings and with my dealings sa community, kasama kayo. You've seen some part of me and I've seen some part of
I've
you.
admired your poetry.
And I admire
Keep it
you
up.
as well,
Yeah.
Tita.
Keep
So,
it up. And I want you to be a leader in the community.
tingnan po natin. Thank you po so much, Councillor Tita Linda. So, sa mga kaibigan ko po at kababayan, muli maraming salamat
Maraming
po.
salamat po sa privilege.
Maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na to, Ate Linda, Tita Linda, Nanay Linda, Councillor Linda. So, sa mga kababayan ko po, I hope na na-inspired po kayo sa aming talakayan ni Councillor Linda. I'm inspired. So, I feel and I hope na makapagbigay din po ng inspirasyon sa ating mga kababayan. So maraming salamat po sa gaya po ng lagi ko pong sinasabi, naway magtulungan po tayo bilang isang Pilipino, sino ka man, ano man ang iyong status sa buhay. Magtulungan lang po tayo sapagkat nananaig po ang ating pagmamahal bilang isang lahi, isang bansa. So maraming salamat po, pagpalain po tayong lahat na lahing Pilipino.
Salamat po.
Pagpalain,
Be safe.
opo, be safe. At pagpalain po ang bansang Pilipinas at pagpalain din po ang Australia. We are such in a beautiful, blessed country po. So patuloy lang po ang ating pagsumikap, huwag po tayong susuko gaya nga po ng buhay ni Councillor Linda, nagsimula sa very humble beginning. Siguro hindi niyo po biniligay lahat ng mga detalye, but I can see, I can visualize in my mind yung mga pinagdaanan niyo sa buhay, yung pawis, yung iyak. But now here she is, a living testimony that poverty is not a hindrance to become successful in life. At yan po ang ugali, ang pusong Pilipino. Hindi po tayo sumusuko. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at mabuhay po
tayo.
si Tita Linda. Naway bigyan pa kayo ng mahabang buhay at magkaroon pa rin ng wisdom. At maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita nyo sa aking opisina. Kasama na rin po ang kanyang kabiyak ni si Sir Phil Santos na kasama ko po rin po sa Knights of Rizal. So maraming salamat po at pagpalain tayong lahat. Mabuhay!
Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayo lahat.
Ako po muli si inyong abang lingkod si Rado Gatchalian, ang inyong The
Ang aming
Philosopher.
poet, local poet.
Salamat po. Magtutula po kami sa susunod. Mabuhay!
Maraming salamat po.